episode of Photography
Welcome
Chat.
to Photography Chat with Merlin. Photography Chat with Merlin.
We're on season 3. It's episode 7. We've got Keren Hitterman here with us, broadcasting from the East. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I just got home from work, so can't complain.
Nice. How's work been going?
It's good. It's starting a new show. I work in the film industry, so that's it. It's always going.
Yeah. Why don't you take a second just let the people know who you are?
Okay, I'm Keren. What I do for a living is I work in the camera department in the film industry. But as Merlin knows very well, my hobby is shooting on film. And just about that.
Yeah, it was actually kind of interesting how we ended up meeting. Like, I posted a little bit about it on the Instagram post or whatever. But yeah, I ran into you in California of all places, and that was totally random. So yeah, it was the Film Padea put on by the Darkroom Lab, and I was I don't know if I ever asked you and your dad, but like, what made you guys decide to go down to that?
Well, my dad actually found it.
Okay.
And luckily I wasn't working. He's like, why don't we just go? Like, we both love shooting film. Let's just get out there and go. And so we did. Didn't know anyone, didn't really know much of what was happening, and just decided to, see the community out there and learn more and meet all kinds of people.
Was that the first time? Oh, sorry, was that?
It was a blast.
It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Like, I definitely enjoyed it, and made some great friends out of it. You and your dad included, as well as Big Head Taco, the fourth Canadian out of all of us there. Had you and your dad ever done a trip like that before? Or?
No, not at all. So it was like our first time heading out for an event, at least like for a film. Padea, I don't know, like not a convention or anything, but yeah, first time.
That's cool. Well, it's such a chance happening, and yeah, so it's like feels like a whole nother life now.
It's so long ago, it feels like. I know nothing like that has happened for us, at least in Canada, for a while.
No, like things are starting to normalize a little bit in the States. Like next month, March. The Instant Film Society, along with San Francisco Instant Photo Walks, are doing the Policon Bay Area, which I was hoping to go down for before Omicron kind of reared its head, because there was talks of them eliminating the requirement for testing at the border, which would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
But because Omicron, instead of removing them, they made them worse.
Yep. Just came back and hit us harder.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping things relax by the summer for the Policon event in Texas, because it's wild. I haven't seen some of the photo peeps since like late 2019. So it's,
wow. Yeah, and you go to every single one almost.
I used to, yeah, before the world ended.
Fair.
Yeah, but like when things open up again, like you should definitely check one out. I know, I'm sorry, JP. JP says, can't believe you're not going to make it. Like, I thought about it, and I weighed the pros and cons of how much testing was going to cost, and heaven forbid, getting a positive result while I'm down there, and I can't afford that.
So it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So expensive.
Well, and San Francisco would be one of the worst places to be stuck for 14 days. I do like to do it cheap there, but I'd probably be rocking it homeless style for those 14 days. It's which I'd probably imagine they wouldn't accept that as so where are you going to stay? I don't know, a
Good luck.
park somewhere. Yeah.
I don't think it'd go well for you.
No. And then just the testing too, because like now they're requiring the tests to be done within 24 hours. And I priced out how much that was going to be, and it was like damn near as much as I was going to spend on the whole trip. So
Really? Oh my God.
yeah, as much as I would have loved to see all of my American homies, JP especially, it's just not yet. But I hope you guys have a lot of fun, and COVID leaves you guys the hell alone, and you just shoot a bunch of film and have a good time.
I know.
Yeah. So, like, with work and everything, have you had a chance to like do much shooting or?
On the last show I did in September. Well, we finished in like October, I guess, like the full show that I did. I shot quite a bit on that show because we had spent 2.5 weeks in a prison. Like
in a prison?
Yeah, Kingston Penitentiary? Kingston Pen?
In Kingston, Ontario.
Correct. So, yeah, we spent 2.5 weeks in there. So I got to bring my camera and go into on the walls and go into all kinds of places and shoot a bit. So that was nice.
Wow.
But, it's hard to carry a camera around when you're working. I just forget all the time.
Yeah, get yourself like a little point and shoot or something that you could just like slip in.
I have one in my jacket and I always forget to take it out. Always.
Or get like one of those Peak Design clip things so you could just like have a camera like on your shoulder.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to upgrade my gear going forward.
Well, I mean, what kind of photographer would you be if you didn't have a bad case of gas?
It's true. Very. Okay.
Have you picked up any new cameras lately? Speaking of gas.
Not really, no. I kind of stick to the same 3 cameras. My shelf is full of cameras, like up to 20 something at this point in my apartment, but
Oh, wow.
still shooting with the same 3.
And what are your 3 favorites to shoot with?
It's my Hasselblad 500 CM, of course. My Nikon FM2. And then mostly just this like Samson point and shoot I have that I just throw in my jacket or my bag everywhere I go because it's so easy and take that just in case.
If it works, why not?
Yeah, exactly. But I just have to start shooting more again.
That's fair. I feel that a lot. I haven't been shooting much since moving to Vancouver, and I'm kind of hoping that with the studio space and everything, that might change a bit. With any luck.
How is your studio space coming along?
It's nearly complete. I'm in it right now, so you're the first episode to happen in the studio.
I'm honored.
Well, couldn't have been a better person to have as the first for the studio. Trying out like the different mic setup than the other one because I have too much scruff, and I was using like a lapel mic, and I noticed that like between the t-shirt noise and the beard noise, I was like, this is probably annoying for people to hear. So, I'm not trying to be like Joe Rogan with this. I don't share the same views as him. So.
I didn't think so.
That's right. I just want to give you guys better sound. Yeah, and then like I would have done the episode here last week, but I didn't have internet in here yet, and the internet that's included with the rent is not great. So I had to like splurge and buy some internets for here, which is how I can broadcast today. But it's coming along. Unfortunately, because of the way the setup I have is now, I can't pick you guys up and show you around because you're like plugged in. Like here, maybe I could show you guys like I'll take a picture on my iPhone and then you can kind of see what it looks like here. Let's see if this works. Ah, son of a bitch. You think I'm like some kind of photographer or something.
Hey,
Okay.
it's very different with the phone. I'll say that every single time.
Okay, yeah. So that's kind of the setup now there. So like it's on an iPad is how I broadcast usually now.
No.
So and then the iPad plugs into this thingamajigger here, which connects to the microphone thingy majigger. And then the one keyboard is for the iPad, so I can reply to people, and then the other one's for the computer machine. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
So that's why I can't pick you guys up and show you around. But one of the things I'm excited for, okay, I got to go take a picture of this and then I'll show it. I should have been more prepared for this.
Listen, it's going to be great. I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, how the fuck does this thing work? Okay. Here we go. All right. It's a twofer. You get two photos. So my studio is in an old motel room. So one of the things I kind of wanted to do was sort of like keep the old motel vibe going. So it still has like the little plexi thing with the like
The door
laws
like
or whatever for like the hotel room, and then the sketchy like lock thing.
I love that.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to like keep the vibe going. But what I'm starting to do is when people come visit the studio, I'm going to take a Polaroid of them, and then it goes up on the door.
Well, that's if you didn't take a Polaroid, I'd be worried. That's who you are. That's what you do.
Yeah. So this is the start of it here. A few people have popped by so far, and yeah, so be warned. If you come visit, you're getting your picture taken.
Well, you're the first person that's like made me super comfortable getting my photo taken, because I was super awkward at first.
Seriously?
Yep. I remember you'd always have to take my photo, and I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, after we started, yeah, because every time I hang out with people, I subject them to the camera.
Correct.
So how did you get started with photography? Like, I'm going to guess it probably involves your dad somehow.
Kind of. I started with digital.
Okay.
I shot a lot of digital. But back when I was in like Cégep, which is for people who are not from Quebec, it's like right after high school, you do like 2 years of like, we call it college, but it's like pre-university.
Okay.
2 years. And I took a class there on like darkroom photography. And I had my grandma's old camera from like Italy that she bought. So I was shooting with that, and I fell in love with it. I love just like printing photos in the darkroom more than anything else. And then I put the camera away, shot digital nonstop to the point where it became a job for a while. And then I hated it because it was a job. So I went back to film. And my dad was getting into film again for the first time. So we just kind of both jumped in it at the same time and went wild.
That's wild. So when you were doing it for work, like what kind of stuff were you shooting?
Anything from like photos of like people for like music stuff, like art things, to events, to literally anything along those lines. Just kind of anything that would pay.
That's fair.
And then stuff for fun. But then I started to hate digital because of that. So I just kind of put my digital camera away. It's still sitting in a drawer. I don't really take it out ever. Maybe for a rare occasion here and there, but yeah, no.
I've kind of gone the opposite direction since moving to Vancouver. I didn't shoot much digital when I was in Toronto at all because downtown camera spoiled the shit out of me. And I really took them for granted. Like, never take your lab for granted. If you have easy access to a lab that takes really good care of you and, you know, gets your stuff developed quickly and scanned quickly, you know, let them know you love them often, because I miss them a lot now. I still mail stuff to them, but it's not the same. Like, you know, I miss like wandering around Toronto in like the morning or early afternoon, and then like getting there before the deadline for same day, or like, you know, getting there for the deadline for next day, and then getting your photos within a day or two of taking them. You know, I never really needed digital because I was okay waiting a day or two to get the photos, but now when I have to mail it over there and it's like, you know, a week or whatever, I get impatient. So I've been shooting more digital now.
I scan my own films, so it takes forever anyways.
Oh man, I remember you mentioning this, and I was just like, why? But some people love scanning.
I love it. It's honestly like it'll take me forever. And it's frustrating that it takes me forever sometimes because I want to see the photos, but like I like the process of like figuring out the colors properly and like putting it back together and all that stuff. And it's kind of relaxing. You just have to sit there for hours because that's the only option you have.
So what kind of setup do you use for your scanning then? Is it flatbed, or have you gotten into like the camera scanning with the digital?
Flatbed V600. That's my baby. And I'm not willing to buy another one for now. It works well for what I need and my small desk. So that I have a monitor and my computer, and I got my light board. So between all of that, I'm good.
And you do 35 millimeter and your medium format with that then?
Yeah. You can also do large format with it.
Have you thought about getting into the large format, or?
My dad got a large format camera, and we shot on it when I was in Montreal for a bit. But I don't know. I have to buy one and figure out where to put it because I bought a condo during the summer.
Yeah, I remember that.
So now I have to figure out where everything can go for now.
That's
and then we'll see.
Did you put that wallpaper in the condo, or did it come with that?
Oh, I put it in.
It's pretty badass.
Thank you.
It gives me like real like Outlook Motel vibes from like The Shining.
I was going for the 70s vibe. My girlfriend like imported it from like Europe or something.
Oh wow.
yeah, just for me. So it's pretty cool.
I dig it. It's very cool.
Thank you.
So have you, like, with all of the photos you've been taking over the years and stuff, like, were there any projects you've been thinking of doing with them, or you just do it for fun, or?
I do it for fun, and I've considered like certain photo books and this, but then I get busy and I forget about them all the time. So I'm gonna try to put together a couple of things, hopefully this year when I have some downtime. But I don't know. We'll see. My show goes from now till September, so it's gonna be a long run.
Oh shit! That's a lot of work.
It's a long time, so I don't know. But I think it'll be. At least I'll have money to buy more film. So,
that's important because I mean, film prices keep just fucking going up and up. Like,
I don't understand like how people are gonna afford it soon. Even the cheap ones are not cheap.
Well, we'll need a universal income so that we can afford to shoot film. This is definitely what we'll need there.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still glad that, like, Kodak is still making film, and Fuji does whatever the fuck Fuji does. And lomography is, like, doing awesome, and, like, you know, Polaroid has been doing great, too. You know, their latest stuff has been awesome. And I just got another shipment in after someone was complaining that, you know, they just raised prices by $2. So even Polaroid's not immune to the price hike.
Everything is in this world, even food.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the food prices we can, you know, thank the freedom people for.
Correct. Yeah.
For our American friends, you've probably heard of it, but we have a faction of Canadians fighting for our freedom right now. Freedom from what? I'm not entirely sure, but they're very upset about something, and you know, they're honking and shitting all over Ottawa, and I think they're in New Brunswick now, so they're bringing.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're making their way to New Brunswick, and you know, they've just fucking back shit up all over the place. So their freedom has cost, I think, a few $1 billion at this point in like lost economic capability. So that's cool.
It's only like 10% of truckers too.
Yeah, it's such a small, and it's not even about the truckers. Like the truckers just got co-opted into that one. Yeah. You know, this is the people who are too selfish to wear masks, and you know, think that
terrorizing Ottawa is great for them. Like,
yeah, you know, thinking Bill Gates is gonna like sneak into your room at night and touch you because you got the booster shot. Like, you know,
it's a big mess. Is what it is.
It's fucking embarrassing. But in the midst of all of that, a cool event, well, a somewhat interesting event happened in Vancouver recently. There was a women's march for you know, the Indigenous women who've been like lost over
Yeah.
the years. And there was a big demonstration that went through Vancouver, and they ended up tearing down the Gassy Jack statue, which is in like the center of Gastown, because like, you know, he's known to be a sketchy dude with Indigenous people and stuff. And the Squamish Nation had already been in talks with the city on removing the statue, so like it was eventually going to go, but
That's amazing.
it was interesting. Like, yeah, I didn't get a chance to go down to Gastown, but the pictures that were on Twitter and stuff they looked amazing, of like tearing the thing down. Yeah,
That's really cool.
and I don't know, did you ever see the statue when you were in Vancouver?
I've never been to Vancouver.
Oh shit, you've never been to Vancouver? Okay.
No.
Well, so I'm glad that the Gassy Jack statue is gone. You know, people can disparage me for it or whatever, but like, you know, he was not a great man. And on top of that, that statue is like what fucking nightmares are made of. Like, it's a bronze statue that I don't know what kind of drugs the artist was on when they made it, but the way they did his face, like, it just looks like something out of a really bad gore movie or something. Like, it's just, the fucking face haunts me. Like, yeah, so when I saw them,
you'll never have to look at it again.
yeah, only in my dreams. You know, he's like, the dude would scare Freddy. Like, he's just not a good looking man. So I'm not upset about it being torn down. Also, a lot of people like to piss on it because to show their disrespect and, like, you know, how they feel towards him. So that area of Gastown especially smelled like piss. So, you know, hopefully it'll be less pissy in the future, because Gastown is one of my favorite places to go take photos. So, you know, you should come. Gastown, it's like right along downtown. So when you go to downtown Vancouver, Gastown is just kind of like along the I guess coastline or the bay or something there, and it flanks like a small part of the downtown core, and then Chinatown is part of it as well too. Like, Gastown turns into Chinatown a little bit, and then like the infamous Hastings and Main Strip is sandwiched between like Gastown and Chinatown, and so there's a lot of color in that neighborhood, and it's
That's
always
really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. It's always been one of my favorite hoods, you know, since I originally moved to Vancouver in like the mid 2000s or early 2000s. I don't know how that works.
I'm not sure what.
I'm not a scientist, but you've never been to Vancouver. That's interesting.
I've traveled more, I think, to the States than within Canada for the most part. Like, only a couple years ago, I went over to like where Banff and Jasper is, which is gorgeous, but
So gorgeous.
never made it further to BC, really.
Well, I mean, like, Banff and Jasper, that's a magical land there, especially if you like landscape photography. Like,
Oh my god, it was just gorgeous altogether. Like,
did you get up to Lake Louise? Did you see the... Yeah, that's a hell of a lake.
yeah, but we were there when the fires were, like the forest fires were happening. So like half the day when we landed, you didn't see like anything but smoke, and then all of a sudden you wake up the next morning and there's mountains, and then they're gone, and then they're back, and they're gone, and you're like, oh. So it was cool because they always surprised you. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, those are the kind of seasons, like, between British Columbia and Alberta. Like, you have winter, and then you have construction, and then you have fire, and then you have winter again.
On this
flooding
side,
now.
yeah. Well, there you go. That's
Yeah.
You've mixed in new seasons.
Yeah, in between, like, you know, you get a little bit of like the construction and flooding, and then fire, and they kind of like mingle together, and you know, it's what makes Western Canada great.
Well, I hear it's beautiful, so one day I'm going to come down eventually.
you always got a place to stay. My apartment's super tiny, but like, you know, you and your girlfriend are more than welcome to the air mattress in my kitchen.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it always.
No problem. So out of all the places you've traveled, like what's been one of your most favorite places you've gone and favorite picture you took while traveling?
That's a hard question. Oh my God. I would say Hawaii.
Okay.
Definitely. I took this one photo while I was there. Last time I went, I've been more than once. I'm very spoiled, but it's gorgeous there. Especially if you ever go to Kauai. It's like the oldest island. It's the most green and like luscious, and you're just sitting on the beach and you see like levels of mountains behind you, and you can see waterfalls in it. It's incredible. And I took this photo on the Hasselblad, so I think it was medium format, of these two people biking towards me in the street, and you just see all the mountains behind them. And yeah, I think that's one of my favorites.
That's very cool.
Yeah, at least for traveling, it's, yeah.
So I guess Hawaii is like one of the few places where it is okay to go chasing waterfalls.
Yeah, I mean, might get really muddy and take you a long time, but it's gorgeous.
Sorry, that was a bad Destiny's Child joke.
I understood it 100%. Don't worry. I was just trying to make it better.
I'm glad you understood it. I'm sure there's some people out there who might not have gotten it.
Maybe not.
You know, they were probably the same people that were very confused by the Super Bowl show.
I still haven't watched it yet.
It was really good, but also made me feel really old because I was like, "Oh yeah, this like just came out like 20 years ago."
Did they do like a medley? I heard, right? That's like all.
Yeah, it was a medley of like all of the great stuff from like the late 90s and early 2000s. You know, they fucking brought 50 Cent out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 50 Cent. Like, I didn't even know that dude was still doing shit, so good for him.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he just came out for the Super Bowl.
I mean, and I gotta like, I loved Snoop Dogg's bandana tracksuit. I appreciate. Well, so he was told not to wear a blue bandana to represent, you know, the posse that he's part of, and also told not to like crip walk, and he rolls up in a tracksuit made out of bandana and then crip walked everywhere he went. So, you know, you can't tell Snoop Dogg what to do.
I don't think you could tell any artist at that level what to do. They'll just be like, no.
No, they all had their own little fuck you to the Super Bowl. So it's like, you know, what do you expect though? Like, you know, these are artists who, you know, their whole career is based on being against authority. So what do you expect?
Yeah, so if you tell them not to do it, they're gonna do it times 1,000. That's it. Yeah,
and it was surprisingly good. I heard though the best way to watch it was from at home, because it sounded the best from at home.
Oh well, yeah. Stadiums are never good for sound. I did some stagehand work at one point, and being backstage, you just hear the sound like 3 times right after each other, and you hear nothing.
Yeah, it's in some places are worse than others. Like the Budweiser Brouhaha area at Ontario Place. Fuck, that place is like the worst to go for like shows. It's just awful. Like, but,
I don't know. I've done both, and I think the Rogers Center is worse. It's just a cement block.
Yeah, I've never seen a show at Rogers Center, but I did go there for a baseball game once, and I was bored out of my fucking mind. Like, it's just like, how do people enjoy this? Like, the ball's so tiny. Like, sports, yeah, indeed. But I think hands down the worst place I ever saw live music was the old Plaza of Nations in Vancouver. Thank God they destroyed it, but it was like this glass building that had a stage in it, and you know, we all know how great the acoustic properties of glass are. Oh, just terrific. And it was so bad that like one of my favorite bands is the Herbalizer, and I got excited because someone gave me free tickets to go see them, and the sound was so fucking bad I left after like 4 songs. I was like, yeah,
no way,
this place is just gonna like ruin the Herbalizer for me.
Jeez. Well, no glass, not a good cement and glass. Just they're not good things for sound.
No, they're not at all. But I'm kind of curious though. That made me think of something. What has been something that you experimented with that totally ruined like a roll of film, or something that you thought maybe was going to like look really awesome, and then in the end was you're just like sad face.
Sad face. Oh well, I've had like water leaks in my camera before.
Water
it turned out
leaks?
really well. Yeah, from like because I have a Nikonos.
Okay.
I have 2 Nikonoses, and the 3. Someone showed me how to lubricate the inside of a like underwater camera, and they put too much on. While I was on a diving trip, took it in the water, it leaked all over the place. The film turned out pretty cool, honestly, though. So I wasn't sad about it. It got like green kind of lines and like designs in the whole thing. So
almost like film soup.
Yeah, exactly. Just not on purpose. And because I was away for like 10 days, I don't know. I had to like leave it sitting there in salt. So it kind of like messed up the film, but that was great. Huh. And then I guess I've destroyed some film by accidentally not rewinding, just like everyone does.
Yeah, we've all played that game. I think this is the right button for that. No, this one. Yeah, that's the right button for that one. Yeah.
But yeah.
I've ruined more film than I'd like to remember doing that.
Yeah. Just shut it out. Those don't exist anymore, and that's that.
Well, that's the one thing that I dislike about my F5. It doesn't auto rewind when I finish, and if I don't remember to rewind it as soon as I've finished a roll, it just says E on it. So if I don't rewind it, I just see E. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta load film in it, and I pop it, and it's like, fuck, it's not rewound. And
I have the same issue with a different issue, but same end result. My Nikon FM2 doesn't. I can't like reset this. Like it's hard to reset the counter every time, so I have to go in with like a freaking toothpick and just like pop it out. But if I don't, like, sometimes I'll just be like, oh my god, I'm lazy and I don't feel like doing that every time. I'm like, oh my god, I'm already at like 36 shots. Oh my god, I better take it out. And then I'm like, oh shit, I didn't. It was already like it was only like 2 shots, and I re-rolled the film, and I'm so like, it's not worth taking it back out after.
No, and then it's like, sometimes you're like, oh, maybe like if I pull the leader out and reload it, like, I've done that a couple of times where it's like I have like 5 shots in, so I'll just like reload it and then just put the cap on and like fire 5 shots off and try and start over. And
yeah, it never works out great, so I'm just like,
no,
gotta give it a point.
But that's also kind of like the fun of film, I think. Like, you never know when you're gonna fuck it up or how you're gonna fuck it up. Like, there's one roll of film that I shot, I think my last trip to Toronto, and I have no idea how I managed to rewind it and reload it into the camera again and not realize that it was already exposed, but I double exposed like a whole roll of film that I did not mean to do so. And ruined a lot of photos I would have liked to have had. But then it's just like, oh, it's film, so it's still good, right?
Sure. I know sometimes it's more risky with film, but I like the fact that you have to like trust yourself enough, whereas digital you don't really have to like think about it.
Yeah.
Not that I think about it much in film, honestly, anymore, because you just kind of like know what you're shooting and you just shoot it.
Well, in digital you could always fix it in post, right?
Yeah, that's true. But not really.
No, like if you fuck it up, like it's still pretty fucked. But there's a little bit more latitude to try and unfuck it if you really screw something up on digital, especially if you shot raw.
Yeah, and you can bring up your darks where in film if you didn't expose it, like, good luck.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you mentioned you like to do printing. Have you set up a place to do printing in your new apartment? Or are you planning on it, or?
I tried a bit when I first came to Toronto at U of T has like a place there. My friend like volunteered there, worked there, and he took me with him. But it was so like hot in the printing room that like your paper would like crumple when it was drying, and I'm like, all right, this is not it. And so I know I have to check out what's the place that you used to go to when you were in
Gallery
Toronto?
44.
Gallery 44, yeah. And I still haven't gone. So,
Well,
that's
if they're open again with COVID protocols or whatever, like they're definitely a great place for the darkroom. It's super cheap.
yeah.
Like I think to be a yearly member with 24/7 access was like 150 or 180 a year.
Yeah, which I would pay to go do. I just have to do
and
it.
then to rent the darkroom is like $6 an hour, which is like dirt cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like it's the darkroom you have to pay for, and then they have an Imicon scanner that you could rent time out on too if you wanted to do fancy scans.
Oh, no way.
There's a V800 that's free. There's a dev area that's free to use with like cool sinks, and they have like all of the tanks and reels and like everything there too. So you just show up with chemicals and film, and they have film dryers too, which is like super nice.
You can just hang them.
Yeah.
Right?
Like that was worth it. And then there's a studio area too that's like, I think it's $80 to rent it for the day, and it comes with a free strobe rental as well too.
Oh, wow, so there's lots you get from going there. I just have to do it.
Yeah, there's lots in the production space. Like, I mean, don't really expect a lot from the gallery side, but the production space is great.
Yeah, I want to set up like eventually my own. Like, I want to develop here, but the problem is like I only have one bathroom, and so it's like, do I want to leave the film for 6 hours there and use it and stuff like that? And I also have nowhere to really set up a real darkroom because all my doors are like sliding glass doors.
Oh.
In my office, like I couldn't actually make it dark if I wanted to.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I didn't think about it when I got the place.
Well, you got it for a living. You didn't get it for like, film stuff.
It's true. It's very true.
Like the apartment that I live in here, like there's no way in hell I could do any film stuff in there, but I love it nonetheless. But like that was the main reason why I wanted to get the studio space here was primarily for the darkroom, because it's a little small for shooting. Like I did a shoot with a friend last weekend and it worked, but it was a little small. But the darkroom, I'm excited because I haven't printed anything since like the end of 2019.
Yeah, I mean, it's been probably longer than that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, 100%. Like I printed like with a digital printer.
Yeah.
But like nothing like with a proper whole setup and everything. Nothing like that. I gotta do it eventually. COVID.
You gotta get back into it.
I'm gonna blame COVID for now.
Yeah, I mean, we can blame COVID for a lot of things. It's
true.
ruined so much. So we asked, like, what was your favorite thing you shot while traveling? But, like, what's been one of your favorite pictures in general that you've taught? Like, something that your favorite because of, like, how it turned out, and then one of your favorites from, like, how it makes you feel.
Okay. Well, let me think about that. I did a photo shoot, I think about a year ago with my girlfriend in the bathtub, and we took I was really worried about the lighting because shooting on film with like purple and blue lights, could mush together very easily. But it actually turned out gorgeous. So I was really happy with that. And yeah, like I love that photo shoot because it was literally like in my old place in my bathtub, like just trying to fit everything. Like I looked like just like a little like gremlin in the corner trying to get the lights in my camera and this, but it was like so much fun and they turned out much better than I thought they would. So I'm really happy about that. So,
that's very cool. Yeah.
I like to like set up random stuff in my apartment and then hope for the best.
Well, I mean, given the COVID era we're living in, that's definitely a good idea to experiment with that. Like I definitely did a bunch of that when I was in Toronto during lockdown because, we had real lockdown in the East.
We cannot go anywhere.
No, we couldn't, which is very different from what they consider lockdown over here.
Oh, really? Well, like even till like recently, we couldn't go eat in restaurants anymore.
Yeah, we've been able to eat in restaurants here, like, for a while. It was really weird when, like, I helped my partner move here at the end of November 2020, and it was just so weird being here and like seeing people eating in restaurants and stuff, and people just like doing normal things.
You're like, no,
Yeah,
it's not supposed to be that way.
it's like, and I got stuck here for my birthday because we got exposed along the trip, so I wasn't planning on being here for as long as I ended up being, and someone's like, well, what are you guys doing for your birthday? It's like, staying the fuck away from people.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, things have been pretty open here, and yeah, we're getting, like, much like Ontario, we're getting rid of a bunch of the restrictions. So, I think we won. Apparently,
I don't know. I don't know. It's so different for me when with my job, I get tested like 3 times a week and stuff. So it's like, I'm like, I still have never caught COVID somehow.
Congratulations.
I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so it's like, I still, with all the restrictions like going away, I'm like, we're still getting tested 3 times a week. So like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
It's interesting. So it's like, with your work and everything, like you kind of live in a different world from a lot of other people then. So
Yeah, I was really lucky though during COVID because I got to like see people on set and like still have we're all wearing masks and face shields and stuff, but like it's still the camaraderie of talking to humans during the day, where a lot of people were stuck at home and are still stuck at home.
yeah, like so that's another reason why I wanted to pick up the studio, because like I work from home.
Yeah.
And my home in Vancouver is much smaller than my home in Toronto, so it's like, at least in Toronto I had a separate bedroom, and then like the rest of my apartment here I just have a studio apartment. So I live and work and everything in the same space, and it gets old pretty quick. So yeah, so it's like the problem that I've been having since coming here is that, after you work a full day and you're in front of the computer you've been working on all day, kind of the last thing you want to do is spend more time in front of it trying to do creative stuff. So
It's true though. It's hard. It's very hard. I mean, I work with cameras all day, and then sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to pick up a camera anymore. So I totally understand that.
Yeah, it's been weird, and I've just been like, also, I find the feeling here a lot different than Toronto. I think in a way I found Toronto a little more energetic and interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just there's a different energy in the city there. Like, Vancouver definitely has a bonus over Toronto that it'll never have, which is like, the proximity to the ocean and nature and everything. Like, it's super nice to like be able to be in the ocean, like be at the ocean in less than an hour, and like, be in the mountains in less than an hour, and to have it be a real ocean, not just a massive stinky lake.
That you should not go into.
Yeah, you should. And I did once, and I felt really weird about it. Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting experience all around. Like, not just because it was Hanlon's, but also just the water was really
Gross.
weird. Yeah. There was, some other gross things that day, but the water was definitely up there. Old man balls are weird. That's
It's a nude beach for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah. And a lot of old dudes, bless them, they just fucking let it all hang out,
Confidence, I guess. It's just...
I would love to have that confidence. Like, that level of confidence, I could be dangerous. But things like, I miss, like, Queen and Spadina area. Like, that's such an interesting area. A lot of cool stuff. And Chinatown is really cool. And, of course, Kensington Market. Some people think it's a little hokey and played out, but I still love it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel that way about Montreal that you feel about Toronto.
Really?
Yeah. I find like Toronto's very like dead compared to Montreal. Montreal's much more vibrant and like fun, and for photographs at least too. I think it's much more inspiring city, if that makes sense.
I would also have to agree with you on that. Like, Montreal is a really fucking cool city. Yeah, like a good friend of mine, she used to live there, and I would go like hang out with her every now and then and just wander around the city and take photos. And like the architecture is really cool there. The people are really interesting.
Yeah, and like you'll have people walk up to you and be like, "Hey, take a photo of me." And I'm like, "Sure, no problem." And they're never gonna see it, and they don't care, and they just look really cool. And there's beautiful art, like graffiti type art, like, all over everywhere, really. And the food's amazing. I miss the food though the most.
The food is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Montreal a lot. It's cool. Like a friend of mine too, like I got really jealous of her apartment. I can't remember what neighborhood she was in, but it was like, it seemed super sketchy. Like when I pulled up in the neighborhood, I was like,
was it like Mile End?
I can't remember. It seemed really industrial, and when I parked there, I was like, should I park my car here? Because it just kind of seemed like it was a super sketchy neighborhood. And then her building was like also super sketchy. Like it seemed like it looked like some scenes out of like something you'd see where they're trying to depict like apartments in Soviet Russia. But then when we got into her apartment, I was like, holy fuck, this is amazing. Like she had this huge basement studio apartment that was massive. Like it had like 20-foot plus ceilings, and it was like so massive that like the sleeping area was like on this like platform midway, so that it was just completely unencumbered all the way through, so you could just like go end to end. And even though it was a basement, she had this like bay of windows on like the one wall that would like stream so much daylight in, so it's just like, this is amazing. And I think her rent was like
way cheaper than anything.
Yeah, it was like $700 or something. And
I believe it. I know the rent is so much cheaper in Montreal, but and the places are also so much more beautiful because like the facades all have to stay the same.
Yeah.
The insides are all like renovated and new and just beautiful.
And the pastries. I miss
those.
So good.
Honestly, any of the food I miss is so good.
One of my favorite places there, and I think about it a lot, not just because of the food, but the people were really interesting too, was Walensky's.
Oh, yeah. My grandfather used to go there like every day.
Really?
Yep. Every day when he was growing up.
Man, like, and that's the thing that's wild about it. Like, it's been around since like, think like the early 1900s. And yeah, like 1920 or something, like 1920 or 1930, somewhere around there. And it's always been family run. So the only people that have ever worked there have been like blood family. Yep. Even still today. And it's cool. Like, so for people that have never heard of it, Walensky's is like this tiny little sandwich shop in Montreal that
it's a special.
Yeah, and it hasn't changed since they opened it. And you can get pickles, pepperoni, a hot dog, or the Walensky special. Yeah. And you can't sub anything in it, so it's like you get it how they give it to you. And it's like, I think it's like bologna and salami. So it's like grilled bologna, grilled salami, and cheese. on
Yeah.
a special bun that they have made for them by the same bakery that's been making it for them since they opened. And it's just this like little pocket of happy.
And it's still going. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But them Schwartz's, St. Viator, I think.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
quite
their
a few
bagels
things.
are so good. Those ones are
Yeah,
amazing.
that's why.
And they're like, they have weird rules around the food stuff too. So it's like at Walensky, if you order 2 specials, they will only serve you one at a time because they don't want you eating a cold sandwich. So like,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you order 2, it's like they just serve you one and then they'll ask you, are you ready for your second? And they'll like make it fresh and hot. Like it's cool. And they're just interesting folks too. Like, it was cool to like hang out there and chat with them. And like you see the regulars that come in there, and it's like old school diner style. So it has like the bar stools and you like sit at the little like, diner style, like, you know, it's cool. I hope that they've survived COVID.
I think so. I think like they're so consistent that people still go. It's like even the Orange Julep. I don't know if you've ever been there.
No,
It's
I've
kinda
never been to
off
that
the
one.
downtown. It's this giant orange. Like I'm not joking. And you just like drive up to it, and they used to come out on roller skates to your car, like even in the early 2000s, and then they got rid of it eventually. But they serve like the orange julep, which is like their specialty drink, and they have like hot dogs and poutine and like whatever. And yeah, like they've been around since the 30s. There was like 3 of them in the 30s, I think, and then
wow.
like the only one that survived. But it's not like downtown. You have to go a bit outside to see it. But it's also there's some things that have really just stayed in Montreal.
The raccoons are super friendly there too.
Especially on like Mont Royal.
Yeah. So one of the trips that I took there, I went down the other side of that mountain. There's like a rest area there, which I guess is where people feed the raccoons. And it was just so cool, like watching people like feed the raccoons. Like there was this French dude there, and he was like swearing at the raccoons, being like, "Hey there, you little fat fucker, you want a burger?" And he's like ripping strips off this burger. He's like, "Come on, fat fuck."
Oh God.
And they would just like go up to people and like pat you on the leg, being like, "Give me fucking food, man."
Oh yeah, they'll come right up to you there. If you don't keep walking, they'll keep going. Like they don't stop.
It was pretty cool. I like Montreal a lot, and I do agree with you. Like Montreal definitely does have like a more energetic vibe than Toronto does, and Toronto has a more energetic vibe than Vancouver does.
Just you're going less energetic as you go, right?
Yeah, it is. And then I mean, like the ultimate, like, you know, energy, like almost no energy, is Victoria. You know, it's beautiful in Victoria, but like that's where you go if you want to retire.
Okay. That's all that's there. Nothing.
Well, and it's like the capital of British Columbia, and you know, it'll be the first thing to disappear in like the big earthquake, because it's like right along the Juan de Fuca Strait, so it'll just
it's gonna disappear forever.
yeah. My studio will be part of the new bay when that happens, but my apartment will be fine.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
my
This was fun.
exactly. My landlady will have beachfront property when that happens.
Has Vancouver recovered from the flooding yet? Like, has it?
So, like, we didn't get hit very hard by the flooding in Vancouver. It was all the surrounding areas, like Langley and Abbotsford and Chilliwack and stuff. I believe the highways are open again. But it was crazy for a while there. Like, Vancouver was cut off from the rest of the country for a few weeks. And, yeah. And it's kind of like one of the main reasons why I moved out here is I wanted to be closer to family. My nieces and nephews and brothers live out here. And, you know, that was one of the main drivers to come out here, was to be able to see them more, which hasn't really happened because, like, you know, we had outbreaks of COVID, and then there was fire season, and then the floods. And then
There's been a lot.
Omicron. And, yeah, like, my niece is still like, why doesn't Uncle Merlin come visit? And it's just like, well, the world's kind of fucked up, sweetie.
Oh, I mean, that's one way to put it. Or there's a lot of other things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot. The new world is very interesting.
Not the same.
No, it's not the same at all. Which I'm kind of curious with that. So, like, as a photographer, do you feel like a drive or an interest to try and capture like what
COVID?
you see go well? Not COVID. I hope you never catch COVID. That's I only really wish that towards people who have no respect for other human beings and lack basic human decency. They definitely should get COVID. But
I meant like capturing the time frame that we're in, I guess.
yeah, like capturing like whatever this is we're in now, as you see it, like because all of us are living through this experience, and all of us are living a different experience from each other. And yeah, I'm just kind of curious, like, have you found yourself like thinking about that, like, you wanting to document some things of
I have, yeah, like especially for me, like most of my life takes place on set, and so I've started a little bit depending on which show I'm on and what I'm doing, but like documenting like people working in masks and like people like pulling down their mask and they look like two different people all the time, because you never can make out the rest of someone's face without actually seeing it.
Yeah.
Kind of shocking, because you can work with someone for like 6 months and you'll never know what they actually look like. That's always really weird.
Yeah, that is really weird.
Yeah. So it's like, because they're not people you've met before COVID a lot of times. So you don't know what they look like. And so I've been like trying to take photos of people when I see them like taking breaks and stuff like that and away from everyone else. And they pull down their mask or whatnot. And then, yeah, like I want to go out and photograph it more. Like I remember in the beginning of COVID, I really wanted to go out and photograph like people with their masks on and stuff like that. But it was also like scary and dangerous at the beginning.
Yeah.
We didn't know what was happening. So,
I kind of regret not going and taking pictures of the TTC being completely empty.
Yeah, no, me too. I thought about the exact same thing, and I was like, it would have been so cool at the time, but now, or the streets even being empty.
Yeah, like I got some pictures of that because like I was doing that Polaroid project, and then I needed more Polaroids, so I ended up having to drive all over southwestern Ontario to all of the Best Buys doing curbside pickup to buy Polaroid, and it was super weird because there was like no traffic.
Yeah.
And that was like driving down the Gardiner Expressway with like 2-3 other cars. I was like, did the world actually end? Like, this is super weird. But then like, Becca got a bunch of really cool photos of the TTC, and like some other photographers on Instagram I saw like had these really like amazing empty stations, empty cars. And I always kind of wished I had that thought too, because like by the time I was like, oh yeah, I should, and it's like people were already like,
yeah. I was in Montreal for most of the beginning of COVID.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I went back because I didn't want to stay alone in my apartment at the time, and so I would go like me and my dad would go like get up every like weekend at like 6 a.m. and go take photos of like everything that was kind of empty. But usually at 6 a.m. there's nobody anyways, to be honest. But it was really weird and different because nobody would like look at each other anymore on the streets and stuff like that. Even like the camaraderie is very different nowadays.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I've even noticed it like affecting. Hey Damien, I've even noticed it like affecting me now, like as things are relaxing and normalizing a bit. Like I was at a social gathering and someone went to shake my hand and I didn't really know what to do with
Yeah.
that for a minute. I was like, I don't know you. Why do you want me to touch you?
Well, that's like the new thing now, right? Every time I go to work and I introduce myself to someone and that I've never met before, it's like, do you do the elbow bump? Do you like handshake? Do you just like stay there and go like hi?
I just do the fist bump. I'm cool with fist bumps, but like the full on shake, I just was like,
No, it's like, oh, okay.
yeah, it's like, oh, is this allowed?
COVID.
Can we?
Yeah.
This isn't illegal now. And the mask thing is an interesting one too. So, a friend of mine, Linda, who worked at Signet Coffee in Toronto, which was like, Signet Coffee was one of my favorite coffee joints in Toronto. They had the best oat milk cortado I've ever had anywhere.
You're gonna send me this name after.
Yeah, it's there. It's on like it's Dundas, like near Dundas and Lansdowne. Like they're right next door to the Night Owl Barber Shop, which is like how I found them, because I would go get my hair cut at the Night Owl and grab a coffee at Signet. But Linda said an interesting thing to me, which you reminded me of when you were talking about the mask thing, is that COVID was super weird for her because she was getting new regulars who she had no idea what they actually looked like, because everyone was wearing masks, and she was like, it was so weird compared to like the old world where it's like, you know, people come in regularly, you get to like recognize like, you know, who they are from their face. And it was also, she said it was also weird, and like I found this too, it's like you can't tell if people are like smiling or like what their emotions look like behind the mask.
Oh, not at all. And so it's like I try to be like extra friendly and be like with my eyes, like smile more, I guess. I don't know. Because it's like, what else are you going to do in a situation where you're trying to show someone you want to be friendly? But then there's people who are sarcastic and you cannot tell.
I am very sarcastic.
But the no smile, like imagine you're like okay.
Yeah, that's true. That could be an interesting photo project too, is like trying to like capture emotion through the mask. Like
It would really, yeah.
that could be an interesting one, because I think that's something that like, hell, I could even picture that being like researched. Like they've researched like micro expressions and things like that, because, you know, I don't think masks are going away anytime soon. We're gonna have to get used to them. So people, I'm sure, would want to research ways to like try and glean how you're feeling by like maybe eyebrows or like.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff. At one point, I thought I was like, I started almost like winking, and I was like, okay, no, that's just weird. Stop. In the beginning, I was like, I don't know what to do.
Okay.
How do I... Yeah, like, oh, no, that's weird. Sorry.
It's sorry, it's my COVID tick. It just kind of happens.
Honestly. But I think you have to like adjust the way you are, and like I only see people's faces when we're eating lunch. But even then, I don't even know how they look, and you forget. You're like, oh yeah, there's the mask.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's 3M guy.
Yeah, there you go.
It's super weird, and just even like the Zoom era has been weird to get used to, because like I talk to people a lot for my work, and in the before times I would actually see them in their offices and stuff. So it's like, you know, you could get a feeling for how people were receiving like whatever you were trying to explain to them by like, you know, picking up their body language and like, you know, seeing like, you know, what's their micro expressions and things like that. And now in the Zoom world, it's just like all that's out the fucking window. And
Oh yeah.
you know,
Half the people's screens are like black all the time. Like I had a meeting today, and half of us just like sat there with our audio off and just like listen. And the other half were like, okay, let me close my screen and like actually do some other work and then put it back on and all kinds of stuff.
you've never done any of that ever. You've always paid 100% attention to everything that everyone's talking about.
If anyone was in that meeting today, I was paying attention the whole time. I was not organizing other things. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I am happy that we've reached the sort of realm of the pandemic where people aren't automatically like, hey Karen, is your camera okay? I just noticed it went off there. It's like, I just needed a fucking minute, dude.
Just shush. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
just no.
Yeah. It might also be my industry though for a lot of that stuff because we know we're all going to see each other in person, and we're comfortable because we get tested 3 times a week. So it's like there's no fear involved in like being around certain people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense because you're all tested and like you know what's going on with each other and
Yeah, because if they get positive, they get pulled away very fast and stuff shuts down very quickly. So
is it like do they put like a black bag over their head and like, you know, ferry them off in like a unmarked van and they never see their family again, and this is what the Freedom Convoy is upset about?
how did you know? Jeez.
Oh wait, sorry, I think they're banging on my door to like black bag me now.
I spoke too soon. No, so.
Sorry. I don't even know if like that's like an okay thing to joke about or not. Like, this timeline is so weird.
It's true. There's a lot going on right now. I mean, even like the Daily News, which is like an American thing, reported on the Canadian Truckers Convoy. Like that's how big it's become.
Yeah, this isn't what any of us wanted Canada to be famous for.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So you're originally from Montreal then, or like somewhere else in Quebec?
Nope. Well, right outside of Montreal in the West Island is where I kind of grew up. So
In
it's
where?
like West Island.
There's an island in Quebec?
No, cool. Well, Montreal's an island.
Oh, okay. I
Right?
didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's an island. That's why you can't turn right on red. Excuse me.
What?
Manhattan, you can't turn right on red. Montreal, you can't.
Because it's an island?
Yeah, it disrupts the traffic of an island.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go. You learned something new today.
Yeah, I thought it was just like a weird Quebec thing.
It could always be, but the West Island is on the island of Montreal.
Okay.
It's just like more suburbia, I guess. So it's like 20 minutes to downtown driving on the highway. So it's not far, but that's where I grew up.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm really curious though. Do you think St. Hubert's is like the best chicken ever?
What? I'm vegan now.
Oh shit.
So
Okay. I didn't know you were a vegan.
I think at the time when I did meat, like Côte St. Luc barbecue was better. I think.
Okay.
It's a long time since I've eaten any meat.
Good
So,
to know. I didn't realize you were vegan. My bad.
Yeah, and it's all good.
I don't think we ever got foods when we hung out, so I never learned
Well,
that.
at the time I was like a pescatarian when we used to go out for like brunches. 'Cause we used to do
That's
that.
right. That's right. We used to brunch in the old times.
Brunch. So I still ate like eggs back then. But yeah, no, I don't think we ever like went out for like any dinners. I think we were just like brunch people all around.
We were brunch people. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brunch is great. And then
I
we go
fucking
to
love
photos.
brunch. Yeah, brunch and photos. It's like that's like the best.
Yeah, you start off your day, you know.
I mean, we could like gratuitously rip off Juan and start brunching cameras.
Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not everyone can drink beer, Juan, but I mean, everyone can eat brunch in some fashion.
Sure. It's
Yeah.
very true. It'd be a little awkward though going to a restaurant and just like, okay, we need a table for how many people? I don't know. Let's show up as we go. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. They'll just kind of show up whenever. That's true. And yeah, that would be a real mess. Yeah. I mean, so it's been a while since I've gone to an organized camera event.
Yeah. Me
And
too.
the last one I went to was in Toronto during COVID. Me and my friend David, the Smoky Smoke on Instagram, decided to check out this like Toronto like photo walk thing. I can't remember which group was putting it on, but they were like, oh, it's going to totally be COVID safe and everything will be fine. And it's like meet up in Dundas Square. And we got to Dundas Square and it definitely was not COVID safe. There was a lot of people there.
Okay, yeah. I got invited to a couple of those, but I was like, I was worried about COVID, to be honest.
Yeah, I still am in some ways. And back then I was like very worried about it. Like there was only a few people that I was like cool hanging out with, like David being one of them. And
to go on a photo walk.
well, we walked up to it and we're like, we were being, like when you see like stray dogs and someone's trying to like call them over and they're like all cautious and stuff. And like, I kind of want to, but I don't know you. And, so we were kind of like, okay. And then we sort of stood away from them, but then they like opened their circle up to like engulf us in their circle. And we were just like looking at each other like, is this safe? And then it was just a lot of like old white dudes, which is also uncomfortable for a couple of the colored guys.
I feel like that's a lot of Toronto's scene from my experience.
Yeah.
I've gone to one or two photo walks, I think, and yeah, that's mostly the only, not everyone, obviously.
Yeah.
But a lot of the scene.
I mean, like, not all old white dudes are mansplaining and, like, cringy.
No.
Not all of them.
No.
I know a few of them that are great, but, yeah, we ended up, like, piecing out because they, like, separated everyone into, like, groups. And they're like, all right, everyone go off in your group. And we're like, okay, we're just going to go off to Ossington. Bye.
You were your own group. It's fine.
Yeah, we just did our own thing. We're like, let's just get away from these people. And that was the last time I ever felt inclined to attempt that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mostly just like walk around like with my girlfriend and we shoot stuff for her and then I shoot stuff for myself. And yeah, I'm trying to explore my new area too.
Have you gotten her into photography yet? Like, does she take pictures too, or mostly subject?
She's mostly subject. She's a great model for like all my needs of photography.
Were you looking over?
No, she's like in the other room right now.
It's like blink twice if you're safe.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay. But yeah, no, and it's been really cool. Like, the areas, like, I live in Riverside now, and it's pretty cool to explore somewhere new.
Riverside. That's
right on the other side of the DVP.
Oh shit. Are you on the like Animal Farm side, or are you on the east side?
On the east side.
Yeah, because there's like
yeah, I'm on the east side.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, like, so you're by Old Chinatown then?
Yeah, I'm just lower, like way lower. Like I'm around Queen Street.
That's a fucking cool area.
Yeah, I really, really like it.
Yeah, like Queen and Broadview. That is like, that's a neat area. And there's that little school over there. I don't know if they still have the wheat pastes up, but they had like these cool black and white wheat pastes of like all the kids that go to that school.
That's still there. That's still there. It's very, very, very cool.
Yeah, that's a neat hood for taking photos because like all down Queen Street is pretty cool. And then just even like the neighborhoods, like there's some really interesting architecture there. And like when I did the Lomography photo walk with Felice and John, that was the area that we wandered around. And cool coffee joints out there too. Lots of
there's so many coffee joints. It's awesome. There was a really cool time we went to go shoot something for her recently. Just like some like fashion stuff. It turned out really cool. And go to like, we see like this barber just like watching us from the other side of the street, like white outfit, like very old style. Like he's just standing in the window, this like old man. So I go in and take a picture of him and he was like giving me thumbs up. He was so happy about it. And like, I don't know, it's just like a very nice, cool area. I love it.
That's cool. On the brunch topic, if they're still open, Lady Marmalade on Broadview, just up from Queen, has a really good brunch, and I believe they
I've been
do
there
have
before.
vegan options.
I think so. I haven't been there since like going vegan, but I'm gonna check it out maybe. It's
Yeah.
not far. It's not far from me. From
No,
my
I don't think it's yeah, it's pretty close there. And there's all sorts of weird churches along Broadview too.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
They're there.
it's a very spiritual street.
I guess so. So is Church Street in Toronto apparently. So
I never realized that. Makes sense.
there's so many
though.
churches there.
It's a little obvious. The park is really cool too. Because like my friend David, the Smoky Smoke, he lives up on oh shit, what is that? By the bridge up. Why can't I fucking remember that street name now? No, not Davenport. I don't know. Fucking up on Broadview.
Okay.
There's a bridge there. It was the bridge that I got in my car accident on. Why can't I fucking remember it now?
The one with the lights there at night.
Yeah,
Very
one
nice.
of the lights, and it has like the anti-suicide mesh thing because like a lot of people used to jump off of it, which, you know, I went on that bridge a few times after the accident to just sort of like subject myself to it to sort of get over the trauma that the bridge gave me from like, you know, being in a bad car accident on it.
Yeah.
And I was like looking at the bridge being like, because on either end there's like these big like, you know, don't do it, call 1-800.
Oh, is there? I've never walked it before.
Yeah, there's like anti-suicide posters and shit, and then they have this like special fencing so you can't jump over. But I just remember like one night I was walking on it and I like looked and I'm like, you know, that it's not really that far down. Like you wouldn't die from jumping off of this. Like you'd probably
really bad.
Yeah, you'd probably like break a lot of stuff, but like the only way you die is if you got ran over by somebody, which I mean is like horrifically traumatizing to put someone else through that. Like, you know, if people need to do that, 100% go do that. Just don't take other people and give them trauma in the process.
It's not the best.
Yeah, anyways, that was a weird dark turn. But there's a very cool park there. And if you haven't explored it yet,
I've not.
there's a hospital by the old Don Valley Jail. And in behind that hospital is like this weird sculpture garden of these like skeletal, muscly figures that are painted in different colors, and they're doing like acrobatics and ninja shit and like whatever, and it's super creepy and really fucking weird, and you can just walk up to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's somewhere to go check out then. I mean,
Yeah, it's just in behind the hospital complex there. So there's like, you'll see the old Don Valley Jail. It's just up from I can't fucking remember the name of that street either. Like the heart of like old Chinatown. There's that like when you're going down Broadview, there's that intersection that's kind of like the main intersection of like old Chinatown. It's just up from there. That's where the old Don Valley Jail is. And then the hospital is like right next to
the one that's right on the parkway, right? That's
yeah,
like
yeah.
really-
It's the big glass building right on the parkway.
Okay.
And if you walk behind it, there's a walkway that goes parallel with the DVP, and you'll see them like just up on the right of you as you're walking down that going north. You'll see like these creepy skeletal figures kind of like peeking over the building edge. It's super fucking weird. There's also a footbridge so that you could go over to the other side of Riverside Park, and there's a petting zoo and shit there.
There's a petting zoo there?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen that. Huh.
I don't think it was open during COVID, but maybe they've reopened it since. But you're in a really cool hood. There's all sorts of cool shit to check out there.
You're gonna have to give me more tips and tricks later.
Yeah, and like there's good foodstuffs there, but I don't know any vegan places. I'm sorry. Like,
I found a lot of them, so it's okay.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, Old Chinatown is cool too. Like, spent a lot of time walking around there, taking some pictures. There's some neat stuff at nighttime too, around there.
A little sketchy being a woman at night walking around.
That's fair. I'm sorry, that was a privileged thing to say.
It's okay. Just, I'm like, eh. My girlfriend like got followed here not too long ago in a car, so
Oh shit.
It's still Toronto's still not safe. I will say that at night.
No, and I guess like with spring coming, the car followings will probably start increasing again.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something I want to go more like walk around and stuff. And when the weather's better, it's like snowing like crazy here today, so today's not the day.
Well, when you do start doing more of that, let me know, and I'll connect you with David, because he lives in your hood and he loves going on photo walks. And
We ditched him, so he needs someone.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, some asshole moved away that he used to hang out with all the time, and now he's like all bummed out because he doesn't have a homie to go take photos with. So
Done deal.
maybe you could go take some photos with him. He's a really cool guy. He takes some cool photos.
I would love that. That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, it's been a lot of fun chatting with you.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It has been a long time, and I'm hoping maybe in the next few months here, once I figure things out, to do another Toronto trip, because missing Toronto and the people there. And
let me know, and we'll hang out for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Make sure it's when you're not working.
Weekends. Weekends are my only time off. So.
Okay. Perfect. Well, we'll definitely work that out then. Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out with me.
Thanks for having me on.
And it was a lot of fun. Is there any, parting sentiments you want to tell the folks or the crowd?
Thanks for tuning in. I don't know. Merlin's awesome.
Oh, you're awesome too. And your dad's awesome. Yeah, it's I hope to see both of you again soon. And
maybe in California.
Yeah, I would love that so much. I'm definitely overdue for a California trip. Man, yeah, I miss that place. I never really thought I'd miss America that much, but
no, me neither.
I really do.
But California is different, a different part of America. I'll say that.
Yeah,
some of it.
Some of it is. I definitely, if you haven't been yet, you should come to Polacon in Texas.
I've never been to Polacon at all.
Texas surprised me a lot. I didn't think I would like it there, and Denton has quickly become like one of my most favorite places I've ever been to, and there's something special about the light that you get down there. It's really different.
Is it warmer?
Yeah, it's like you get kind of that like Midwestern-y kind of light there. Like, I had always seen like these pictures on the grams where people just had this like beautiful like glowy kind of light to these like afternoon photos. I'm like, how the hell did they do that? And then you look and it's like, oh, it's mostly like in the Midwest or like Texas or the desert or something. So it's just like, if you want that light, you have to go there. And there's some beautiful light in Denton. So you should come down sometime.
I will try to get away eventually, hopefully.
Well, I'm going to let Mr. Mocha walk us out here, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. Next week, we're going to have Dakota Lee joining us. And did it not start? Let's do it again. Here we go. Now it's working. I'm still getting the hang of like all of this newfangled technology shit. But thank you so much, Keren, for hanging out with me, and thank you everyone for tuning in and hanging out with us. And next week, Dakota Lee is going to be joining us on the chat, so that should be a really interesting chat. Met her on Clubhouse last year when I started messing around with that thing. So stay safe out there, and hope to see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye, Keren.